Hey, what's up guys? My name is Coy Bowles. Welcome to The Backstory, which I tell you a little bit about how I wrote some of the books that I've written. This is the backstory to 𝘞𝘪𝘭's Where There's a Will, There's a Way. So after I wrote my first book, Amy Giggles Laugh Out Loud, I had far more success with that book than I ever thought I would. I printed 2,000 copies and fingers crossed I would sell them. Within like a year or so, I'd sold those copies and had to reprint, which was really exciting. So I decided I wanted to write another book. So I went and met with a lot of teachers and educators to find out what would be a good book, because that Amy Giggles book had connected with the teachers and the school system so well that I wanted this next book to be viable in the classroom as well. And across the board, the two main topics that came up were work ethic and self-entitlement. So I knew that I would be able to write a genuine story about work ethic because it was really important in my life. I was taught to be a hard worker at a young age. My parents are both really hardworking people, and still to this day, I love working and love grinding it out. I went to start trying to think about what I would come up with and what this whole idea would be. So I came up with the idea of my main character named 𝘞𝘪𝘭. I came up with the idea of where there's a will, there's a way. And then I started kind of mulling around the idea about what if it would be a story about this kid who tries out for the talent show. And then I started thinking, well, that's kind of my story actually. I tried out for a band when I was in elementary school, and I didn't make band. I did not, and I came home from school and I talked to my mom. I was pretty bummed out that I didn't make band, and she goes, well, you don't practice music. Why would you think that you would make band tryouts? And I was like, I guess you're kind of right. So shortly thereafter, I picked up the guitar, I started practicing guitar, and realized how you get better at things when you practice. So in the story, Will tries out for a talent show, doesn't make it, comes home from school with a super sad face and tells his parents that he didn't make the tryout. They say, well, you have to practice to be good at things. And Will is used to kind of being good at things, but without really trying. His parents say you should try practicing. He decides to practice. Turns out he really loves practicing. He practices night and day. He goes back to his teacher, asks for a second chance, and she says, I can tell that you've been practicing. I will give you a chance for this talent show, but you gotta practice night and day and as much as you can to really do something in the talent show. So Will goes crazy. He's practicing in the shower, he's practicing in his sleep, and then day comes for the talent show. He's really nervous. He plays his song and the people clap along. Everybody has a great time. And then does Will place first or second? Oh man, that was something that I was like, I really want him to place second, but will kids get to the end of the book and have this kind of like, he didn't place in first place? That's no fun. So I decided that I was going to get him to place in second place because there were people who had been practicing longer than him and playing longer than him that would end up getting first place if this was a real story. I was glad I did that though, because a lot of parents and teachers wrote me afterwards saying that they were glad that Will had placed second because it was a way for them to have a discussion with their kids or with their students about how working for something and having work ethic towards something, sometimes that you place second, and if you want to place first, then you have to try even harder or practice more. And not everybody wins first place kind of thing. So I was glad that I did that, but I was really nervous, I have to admit, when I decided to do that. That was going to kind of like, kids be like, what? At the end of the book. I worked with an illustrator named Brian DeTagios, and just what a pleasure to work with, man. It was such an awesome undertaking for us, and I learned a lot from him with this being my second book. I was still pretty green. 𝘞𝘪𝘭 is kind of the story of, overcoming challenges, work ethic, feeling like you deserve something that you need to work for. The whole reason I do these books is to try to put something positive out there, to give kids some guidance and open up discussion between parents and adults and whatnot. So if you have a kid that that's struggling with these things, get them a copy of 𝘞𝘪𝘭, read it to them, let the discussions begin. Also make sure to check out the video of me reading the book 𝘞𝘪𝘭. And thanks for everybody who's always been so supportive of this book and the books in particular. It's been an awesome journey, and it's great to see willpowers out in the world. See you.